Had this for a while.
Yeah. I think I might need to get a new one. Mine's getting pretty old.
I finished 2 miniatures.
All right.
Just yesterday. Gonna see if I can get links. Give me a second.
No problem. Hey, Steven.
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
Doing good. I'm glad it worked out for both of you to make it on.
Yeah, I just had to.
It's kind of nice doing it in the middle of the day.
I set my alarm to wake up.
That's right. You've got crazy work hours.
Yep, they're a little disorienting at times, but no big deal. Like you're making an armature?
Yes. I'm going to try and make this armature, this vulture, and then I'm going to pose a figure for my new little line I'm working on. So I wanted to get this thing set up first. Oops. Where'd my wire go? I had a big extra piece of wire somewhere. There it is. So you keeping up with the 100 days still?
Yeah, so far. I missed the 1 day, but other than that, yeah, I've been keeping up with it.
Cool. Yeah, there's definitely those days.
Yes.
It's very difficult, especially depending on your schedule. Oh, can't make it. All right, so how's it going, guys? Rich is looking for some miniatures. He's getting some photos set up to show what he's been working on.
Yeah, everything's been going good. I think I posted the last picture that or the last thing that I worked on.
Cool. Well, let's take a minute to mention that. So Steven's doing the 100 days challenge as well. He's not posting up every day, but he's still keeping track of his progress. And you've been posting it in the, where is it? There's like a community posting section on the Patreon.
It's on the Patreon. If you're looking at on a computer, it's under the community section. If you're in the mobile app, up on the top somewhere, there's a tab to get to patron posts.
There you go. Yeah, and I'm not sure. We aren't sure if anybody else is seeing notifications in there. I do get them sometimes. But secret little place it seems to be. But there's people posting there from time to time, so definitely head on over there and check it out. Oops. Oh man, my thing went to sleep. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be interesting. This is actually a larger scale figure. It's going along with the 75 millimeter. So I'm doing things a little different than I might normally, but kind of similar, a little different. I haven't done many birds or weird creatures, so it's always fun to build the armatures a little differently. All right, where did that wire go again? There it is.
So is it going to be flying or typical vulture?
It is. Yeah, it's going to be perched on a large tree trunk. It's actually, for a friend of mine, her entry into the Crystal Brush con. So she needed a figure that she couldn't find anywhere, and And I said, hey, yeah, I've been wanting to work on some skeletons. Oh, it's gonna be just a skeleton of the bird too. So I'm working on the skeletons. So
yeah, a little bit.
yeah.
I tried putting the dress on the one skeleton that I was working on, and not entirely thrilled with the way that's going. But anyway, keep working
Is
at
it
it.
all female still?
Yeah, it's still it. Well, the skeleton I cooked the base skeleton, and then I started putting the Fimo on for the dress. So the dress is all still clay, but the
That's
skeleton
good, yeah. So,
itself is locked in.
right. For you to adjust if you need to.
Yeah, it's still workable.
Cool.
So I'll
Should measure
attack
this
that as I get.
first.
I'll attack that as I get time and ambition
Mm-hmm.
and inspiration.
This might barely be long enough. Yeah, I think that'd be long enough. I was hoping some of the UK folks might be able to join us too, since I did it earlier in the day, but gave a little bit of short notice. It was a very busy week at work, as that can be.
Yes.
It just got away from me. It's kind of nice to do them during the day like this because I'm not as tired as I usually am when we do it in the evenings.
They're kind of late over your way.
Yeah. I think we've been doing it 9 to 10, which isn't too bad, but I get on this schedule from time to time where I try and go to bed around 10, get up a lot earlier, so. On there. There we go. Gotta set it evenly. All right, Rich sent his link over.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Hey Tom, I posted.
All right.
I pasted a link.
All right. Going over to it.
All right. It's both miniatures in one album. I just grabbed all the recent photos and threw it in there.
All right. Let me see. There it is.
By the way, hello to everybody else there.
Hi, Rich.
Okay, I'm getting very confused. Where am I going? Where did that go? There it is. Okay, that link. I need that up. Okay. I need to share my screen. There we go. Whoops. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So this guy was an armature last time we did the hangout, right? Am I remembering that right? Or is this a different guy?
He was less detailed than you're seeing now, definitely.
Yeah.
So
cool.
So as you scroll through, you'll see the progress until he's completed.
All right.
It may jump to the other. I just took all the photos and threw them in there, so it may jump to the other miniature.
Oh, okay. Before we get to the end of this guy.
Sorry, I didn't prepare as well.
No, that's all right. I know how that is. Cool. There we go. So you sculpted, did you sculpt the hammer separately, or did you attach the rod to his hand and then sculpt the hammer on?
I was trying to get it done in time, so I actually sculpted it while it was on there.
Oh, wow. Cool.
I normally take it off, but I was forcing myself to
Yeah.
get it done.
I have so much trouble sculpting equipment on the miniature, unless it's small things like bags or whatnot.
Yeah, it's not the way to do it.
Yeah, I like sculpting them off and then attach it. That way you can bake it and it's done and attached.
Yeah, that's the proper way to do it.
Ooh, did you get a crack in your hammer?
Yeah.
It looks, that kind of fits what's going on with it, though.
I saw that after it happened. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I was like, "Wait a minute, I didn't do that on purpose." I think that's the first time it's ever
this
happened.
guy.
It's probably again because I was rushing, so maybe the green stuff was still not fully cured.
That could be, yeah. If it was, but if it bloomed, it probably bloomed underneath.
Yeah,
because it wasn't fully set and then expanded. Yeah, that's probably what happened.
So I learned something. So
all right,
cutoff flag. He originally had the sword, but
instead of the bird.
The bird was going to be part of it, but he was going to have his hand rest on the sword.
Okay.
But I had to nix the sword because I just ran out of time.
Oh, I gotcha. Now these are all the you're for your D&D players still, right?
These are the last couple of guys who didn't have theirs.
Ooh,
look good.
Turnaround. Sweet.
Yeah, the stitching down the leg is cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very cool. Yeah.
That I posted on Instagram. That's the first thing I've ever posted on Instagram.
Oh, sweet.
It was the only thing
I need to look for that. That's I've been frequenting that a little more. I like that a lot. It's a great way to see artists' work.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like any of my other stuff enough to post. But this, I felt this isn't too bad, so I'll show some people.
I always feel like I want to have more to post. I feel like I don't have anything worth taking a picture of like every day, you know. But I don't know. Some people seem to, so I don't know what I need to do. Maybe I just not be so bashful about in progress stuff.
That's the 100 days kind of, the way that I'm doing it kind of forces you to take a picture of no matter what you're working on, wherever you're at, and some of the stuff. Do I really want to post this? Well, it's what I did, so I guess so.
Oops, where did it go? Here we go. Stop sharing. Well, it's cool looking, Rich.
Thanks.
Yeah, it looks good.
Was this a deadline because you wanted to get them to your buddies by a certain point, or just for yourself?
Self-imposed deadline. I didn't have to have them done, but I forced myself to do it.
Gotcha.
Also, because I want to move on to other stuff.
Yeah. That's totally valid and very good reason.
I also remember I told you I picked up the Instamold stuff.
Yes.
I used that to try to cast these also. So that was a bit of
a cool
learning experience.
How did it work out?
Still learning.
Yeah.
It didn't work out so good. I mean, not the material's fault. My learning how to use it properly.
Gotcha.
So I applied a little too much pressure and it deformed the mold. So the casted piece ended up deforming.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that. Is it because it's somewhat malleable even after it cools or sets up, right?
Like a really hard wax after it's done, but if you which I clamped them, it'll gradually be pushing the soft. I was using Procreate, and it's so pushing the Procreate, and when it set, it ended up deforming it. So the idea is to not kind of just put them together but don't with just enough pressure so that it gets the imprint, but not enough. So like basically, I shouldn't clamp it.
Gotcha.
Kind of push them or put less pressure on it. Just hold it, just enough to hold it, not to actually deform it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I was rushing, and and like I said, it's a learning. So I'll mess with it again.
What material are you casting in?
Cool.
This time I was trying this thing called for these I was using Instamold to create the mold, and then using Procreate after to fill it. But
okay, to squeeze it in between.
Yeah.
Okay.
But previously, all the stuff I've done was using I forgot the name. I forgot. My mind's going blank. But it's the company. Give me a second.
That's all right. Is it portable resin?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Isaac, welcome to the Hangout.
Smooth On. I was using.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Their one of their casting stuff and one of their mold, rubber mold, silicone molds. So those came out much better when I did them properly, and I used pressure casting, so I put them in a container.
Reduce some of the bubbles.
Yeah, yeah. But here I was trying a different technique and just trying something different.
Can you still pour the smooth cast in there?
I don't think so, because I think the smooth cast heats up a little.
Oh.
If I remember correctly, and the heat will deform the Instamold.
There's always issues with molding, it seems.
Yeah.
These
are sensitive to heat, so you have it's really meant to use like green stuff or like Procreate, and then you got to pack it in there, and also I guess I should take my time with it, but like I said, I was rushing, so. But anyway, it's still cool. I'll mess around with it a little more.
You could always try and pack the mold in ice, and then just pour the other stuff in there if you're never going to use it again anyway. If it's just for a one-off cast, you can always try that. And hopefully the ice on the outside of the mold will keep it cold enough so it doesn't deform while the resin sets. Just a possibility.
Yeah, it's something to try. Definitely.
Yeah, very cool idea.
Yep. That's it. That's all I got new. I couldn't do the 100-day thing. I saw when you first started it, but I ended up not doing anything for the first few days, and then I was like, okay, I got to get these miniature done. So I just started every day sculpting it, but I didn't record it or anything like that. I just took pictures of my progress. So
that's all I'm doing. I'm just taking pictures and posting them on Google Photo.
Okay.
It really is another level of I don't want to say commitment, but it just takes, there's a lot more to it when you're doing a video or even a blog, like writing more than just, recording. But like I said, that's, I think Steven's doing it in a great way, because he's still going to have a log for himself, even if for nobody else. Back on and see the progress very deliberately. But ultimately, the most important thing is just to be doing it, every day or as frequently as possible to build up the habit. And
right. Yeah.
So yeah.
So in that sense, I did do that. I was working on these every day as much as I could, even if it was like 30 minutes. The problem I find though is that I never worked on it 30 minutes. It always the intent. Okay, I'm only gonna do, and then it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and then it which is good for the sculpting.
Messes up your rest of your day though.
It's
yeah.
bad for my day job because then I fall asleep at my computer at work.
Yeah, that's happened to me for sure. too this time around. Yeah.
It's even extra worse because my manager sits right next to me. He's my friend also, but I'm always like, I would catch myself like waking up from like, nodding off a bit, and I'm looking corner of my eye to see if he noticed. But
that's funny.
It's cool.
Well, set a timer for yourself maybe, and just only do it for 30. If that's funny though, to have like that you do and you don't have the time.
Right.
You need to almost limit yourself so you're not doing too much.
I have to force myself to start, but also force myself to stop.
Yep.
Once I get started, it's like I just keep going. I just want to keep getting it done. And then,
yeah.
I went to last weekend. I went to Toy Fair in the city, in New York City.
Awesome. How was it?
It was awesome. That's actually was a huge inspiration boost, and like from then I just was every day doing something. Yeah, it was really good. There's toy companies here in New Jersey where I live. So my friend, he's a reseller of toys, and he already went out to their studios and was talking with them. And so he was introducing me to them. I just was going. He just got me in. I was just like, oh, I'll just check it out. But he started introducing me to them, like, oh, this is a friend of mine. He's a model or sculptor or whatever. Like, I wasn't even asking for that, but so I'll look into that. They're smaller studios, so I mean, one is NECA. They put out a lot of licensed toys. And the other one is Four Horsemen. They also put out licensed stuff, but they have their own Kickstarter, which is about to end, called Mythic Legions. So they do like 6-inch figures. Maybe I'll see if I can get a link.
Four Horsemen, you said?
Yeah.
There it is. Ah, cool. Oh, wow. They're doing very well.
Oh, yeah. So you found it?
Yeah. Is it showing in the share?
No.
Oh, shoot. That's right. I have to click on. No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's done.
All right.
So my friend had already told me he's a reseller, so he was selling their first Kickstarter, selling those. And he was like, Rich, you got to check these out. These are really good. And I would see the pictures. I was like, oh, okay, they're cool, but I'm not really interested. But then when I went to Toy Fair, he was like, you don't understand. You got to see these in person. And when I actually saw them, I was hooked right away. But they're really cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
And all their stuff they do in computer, ZBrush.
Ah.
And they use a particular company that they use to 3D print their prototypes.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying that the company they're using now, they have to do like almost no cleanup.
Wow.
So they get back such high quality parts. And my friend was like, they had professional 3D printers in their studio. He said, but they just recovered. They don't even use them anymore. So he's trying to set something up, and I'm supposed to go with him to their studio to.
Awesome. That'd be great.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I never hit on me as a kid, but action figures and how they would just paint the same thing different ways. But
these guys
different.
have done a masterful job of that.
Yeah.
Like, just look at the overall line. It all looks like unique figures, but when you start looking at close, you're like, oh, these boots are here and this, and the way they reuse the parts are just so well done.
I love these skeletons.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's sweet. I used to dream about doing action figures, but just kept making little guys. I really admire this stuff though, especially how the sculptors have to engineer it all too.
Yeah.
That's very cool. That's neat.
Yeah, but it was really cool talking to them because they were cool guys and they were just talking about all different things, and like the NECA guy was talking about how licensing and how so they have the license for Predator.
Oh, sweet.
And fans keep asking us, hey, where's the Dylan figure? Where's this figure? He was like, these guys, the fans don't understand that getting the license is a whole ordeal. He said, because they have like Rocky and they have all the characters for the Rocky from the Rocky movies. He was like, in that situation, the license is from the movie studio owns the rights to all the characters, so they can use them just by getting the license from the movie studio. But he says something like Predator, they have to actually get the individual actors license to each actor. And he was like, sometimes they're cool. They said there's not a lot of money for them in this. So if they're doing it, they're just doing it because they're cool people. So like Arnold will do it just because it's cool or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said like Sigourney Weaver, because they have the Aliens license. He was like, it took 2 years, but eventually she did it also just for the heck of it. She doesn't need the money. It's not that much money. Or whatever. But then he said, then you'll get people like Carl Weathers who want more money than Arnold and Sigourney Weaver. It won't give the license. It's like, dude, it's not that much money in this, for us to be paying you that much. But he said he keeps trying, so he's on Twitter all the time, like, hey, Carl, whenever you're ready.
That's awesome.
But so it was cool hearing stories like that.
I would buy a Dylan action figure. I love Predator.
Yeah, that movie is awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. So anything else cool you see there? I've never been. I hear it's very, very large.
It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's like it's like scared to get into that stuff because it's like everything's awesome and you start wanting everything there, and it's like it's like I have to limit myself to like, okay, I'm not like originally I limited myself by saying I'm only getting 1/6 scale statues, period, no matter what. If it's not 1/6 scale, I'm not even touching it. And of course my friend's like, hey, check out these 1/12 scale figures toys I got. I was like, oh god. But he's cool because he's a reseller, so he gets wholesale price, and he might, he's like, listen, I'll hook you up,
Awesome.
But I'm actually after talking with him, I'm actually looking into that for myself to start reselling toys on the side just for some, extra.
Awesome.
So
I'll be very interested to hear how that goes. And like I said, I used to listen to a lot of podcasts about it and stuff, but I realized when I wasn't going to do it, I kind of fell out of that. But it's very intriguing, and there's a very lively community of collectors for these different conventional action figure toys.
Yeah.
And I guess conventional isn't the right word, but not mainstream,
Right.
I'm still amazed at the G.I. Joe collectors out there. I used to listen to a podcast called What's on Joe Mind. They had a lot of concept artists and sculptors on there, a lot about that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a great podcast. I never knew how vibrant and active the G.I. Joe scene was still these days. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. He was telling us why they haven't done like newer G.I. Joe figures.
Oh yeah?
Because we were asking, hey, how come they haven't done that? They brought back He-Man, they brought back Thundercats, Transformers, why not? And he was like, it's the whole terrorist thing. He said,
yeah.
They're doing absolutely nothing to promote anything like that.
That's interesting. Good point. Yeah, because the bad guys, they got to make them, and the people, and
yeah,
they're terrorists.
They won't touch it. They're not giving up using license for anything with that right now, simply because of that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
different
too bad.
ages.
Yeah. All right, I think I finally got this thing's head on. I just gotta putty it together before it falls apart.
So this earlier time was for people in the UK?
Yeah, well, yeah, I a lot of guys in the UK are, support the channel and everything, and I typically, weekends get very full, but especially because it's my birthday, I was like, hey, I'll do this time for them. So I'll do another one in the future and try and give more notice. But hey, Amelia, just a second. Sorry, one of my daughter's friends was knocking on the door. Anyways, yeah, so yeah, I'd love to get them on though sometime. So
nice.
Just give the opportunity, because I know when we do it at 9, it's especially when it's a weeknight, that's in the middle of the night/morning for them. So I can't do that.
Right.
So if this works out, maybe we'll just do this regularly.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with this. This is usually my work day.
Cool.
I'm usually home.
Cool. Fun work day, you mean?
Yeah, personal. Yeah, personal.
Gotcha. Personal work. That's good to have. You excited for Adepticon?
Yeah. Excited to meet
too.
you.
I'm super stoked.
That's the most exciting.
Ditto. Yeah.
I like the convention's nice, but I really am looking forward to it.
That's why I like to go to these things. I wanna hang out with all the people.
Yeah.
Sculpt and jam and see cool stuff.
Yeah. Did you ever get a chance to set up any meetups for Adepticon?
Not officially. Like where we're gonna have a room or something like that. But I'm gonna try and get a lay of the land a little bit, because I haven't been there. I've only been there at the new place once, and so I'm not exactly sure. I know it's changed even since then. So I'm gonna try and get the lay of the land, and I might try and put something out there impromptu while I'm there, trying to get people, but nothing specific now. But I would love to. If I can, I want to talk to the what's it called, the organizers. If nothing else, I do know the hobby coordinator guys, trying to get space or something to do a hangout thing for next year, like specifically, maybe even promoted by the show, so that people, more people know about it, because they really do like to push the hobby stuff. Obviously, there's always a lot of painters and stuff, but if we can get some more sculptors coming, I'm sure they'll be up for that.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So I forgot to twist this thing's, so it's a little loose still. Kids are having fun outside. Did it get really cold up there for you guys?
What's that?
Or Rich, at least. Did the temperature drop pretty drastically for you guys?
Yeah, 2 days were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it suddenly plummeted today.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
And then, yeah, we were at 80 on.
Right.
It's to like 40 yesterday, and I think this morning it was like 25. Crazy.
Yeah, same thing happened here.
But I guess who could have thought it would be that warm in February? That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Normal now.
Yeah, it's the new normal. That's what they say.
It tricks us. accidentally just threw my tool at myself. All right, I gotta leave that aside. I'm gonna try to pose this miniature up.
Hey, I haven't been watching all of your 100 day stuff.
Just a second. Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead.
I haven't been watching all of your 100-day stuff, but have you been using ZBrush?
Yes. Just a second. All right, there. I had to get my keyboard so I can pull this up. Okay. Yes, I have been using ZBrush. I've been working for my good friends, the Rodman brothers, doing small, kind of like add-on miniature pieces, and they're all about 3D and stuff. And they know I've been trying to. Gosh, I just said it. They're all about digital, digital traditional molding and everything. But their line has pretty much all been digital sculpts, and they knew I was trying to learn digital sculpting, so they hooked me up with a bunch of these little jobs that were, kind of much easier to tackle, but would be great learning pieces, and less pressure on the time frame to get them done, just everything. So it's been a really good experience to start learning that. And I learned a lot before, but getting down into the smaller figures rather than like that bit large city that I made last year this time, actually.
They've been looking good, the stuff you've been showing.
Thanks. Yeah, I've been really enjoying it.
I was amazed with the posing of that was a fox. It looked like. Yeah. Yeah, I was at first when you were showing it. It's like,
yeah.
Well, I don't know. The pose is kind of static, but then I saw what you showed at the end, and that was very cool.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure the best way to go about it, and there's kind of several different options to pose that you can go about with posing and things like that. I mean, some people, I've seen this a lot, and I might try this on a figure, but some people don't even bother with making a symmetrical figure and then posing. They will sculpt. They'll pose up a very generic blobby shape, for lack of a better term, and then they'll just sculpt, which is crazy when you think about digital and how you can do symmetry, but then you remember, oh wait, this is how I've been sculpting my whole life, so it shouldn't be that big a deal. But when you have the symmetry as an option, it does seem like a big deal. But in some ways it can be a lot easier, and you can kind of capture the feeling, because when you sculpt something very symmetrically and then you have to pose it, it can take a lot of time to get a very smooth flowing pose and form, because you're moving that leg straight, you're moving it at the hip, and then it doesn't look right. Well, then you got to move the knee, and you just have to move so many small parts, and it's not super fast necessarily, because you have to set up your transpose tool a certain way to move it just so, and just getting used to it over the traditional tools, which I'm used to, and in some ways can be quicker, but there's a lot of things about digital that can be quicker and more effective too. So yeah.
I've never tried digital sculpting, and still working with the Fimo.
Cool. Yeah, well, me too. This figure I've decided I'm going to do all in putty, which maybe I won't. I don't know. I originally was going to pick up about it. I'm like, hey, I want to do a figure all in putty again. But after I finished the Unicorn Girl, I really enjoyed that. And that was all Fimo. I'm like, well, maybe I'll just do Fimo again. But I'll probably do putty. If it's good to keep the skills up with all the different materials and stuff, so it'll give me more to talk about on the channel in terms of that. So whatever works.
They definitely work differently.
Yeah, they definitely do. I just don't want to completely abandon putty since I do know how to do it, and I don't hate it. You know, I do. I've grown to like it, and it's also, you can be a lot quicker with it if you are really deliberate. You know, you only have so much time to sculpt. But I have a lot of people asking, you know, how to do this in putty, how to do that in putty. It's Fimo hasn't seemed to click with as many people.
Really?
So yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm getting a lot of, maybe these are people that are doing conversions or something like that. That could be. Yeah. Maybe that's why, because obviously, you know, Fimo doesn't work as well for that. But then it's potentially more fragile.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're doing a conversion, it's probably for a gaming piece. It's going to be handled a lot, and you're not going to cast it. Right. So in that case, it can be very helpful to just, oh man, why does this thing keep turning off? There we go. It can be very helpful to know how to do it in putty.
I know for me, whenever I work in putty, I go a lot slower because I guess I work in smaller sections and try and finish off a little bit, and then let that cure before moving on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot slower.
That's how I used to be with it. I think I was also, there was a bit of a fear there too, that if you would do a section and you want it to set up, to be solid, to be set, and because if you put putty on top of it, well, stuff underneath can still move, but it's curing, so it's changing. You know, it's getting less movement. So if you move it too much, you can't change. Whereas Fimo, you know, it might be soft underneath, the stuff might move, but you can move everything all the time. So one thing that did help me, like when I did that barbarian figure, because I did that fairly fast, all in putty, was to just, you work with larger amounts at a time. But like I said, you have to be much more focused and just make decisions and do it and just keep pushing forward, which can be a challenge.
You definitely need a plan.
Yes, you definitely need a plan. That's
a lot harder
totally
to sculpt on the fly with a lot of putty.
Yep. Yeah, Trey Manor, he does that a lot. I don't know how he does it. I have to have more of an idea of what I'm working on, a sketch or something. Yeah, I actually ended up, when I was doing that fox and that pose, you know, I started to pose it. I might have even showed one where I'd started to pose it. I wasn't sure what I was doing, and I just stopped and I did a sketch. It wasn't even that great, but it was just enough that it allowed me to kind of map out and what I wanted to do, and then I was able to pose it up much quicker. And because before that, you know, you're just trying things, and it was way easier to, quote, you know, so to speak, to try them on paper than to try them by, you know, moving this piece and that piece in the program, or, you know, as a traditional figure. I'm very excited to do this miniature, though. This is a character I wanted to sculpt for a long time.
One thing to add about the Fimo Professional. Remember, I switched over to that. It's fantastic. Remember, I was using, when I was casting stuff before, they would fall apart. They wouldn't survive the casting process.
Was that when you were using Classic?
Yeah. So a lot of them would fall apart at the end as I was trying to take it out the mold. It would be fine because I had the mold, but I couldn't keep the original. These survived absolutely perfect from this stuff.
Wow.
I had one figure I was casting for using the old stuff, and then the newer ones you just saw were using all professional, and that old one didn't survive. It broke apart when I took it out of the thing. But these were absolutely fine. I still have the original.
Cool.
Right here. They're already baked and everything. But yep, they absolutely perfect.
Cool. Now,
impressed.
Do you remember or think or recall if the was that Fimo fairly old?
It may have
Classic.
It may have been.
I don't know if that's exactly it, but that's my guess.
I think so too.
because a similar thing happened to mine when I was first working at Fimo a long time ago, and I started with fairly old Fimo, and again, everything came out, but the molds came out, but the figure kind of blew up. Yeah, although I was kind of saying how I might have to just do the Fimo Professional instead of using up the rest of my old stuff, although I feel like the old stuff when I was working on that Princess and Unicorn miniature, but a big difference that was happening between getting back into it and not is it was a lot warmer, and I was able to condition the clay, and that definitely helped when I was working with it. Now, how it'll survive, I guess we'll see when I get it molded. I hope it survives.
Yeah.
My figures usually survive, so I'll be disappointed if it doesn't.
Yeah, these were perfectly fine. Like,
awesome.
I'm very happy with Professional. So.
Shoot. Trying to turn this head. Maybe I shouldn't even bother though. I should probably just sculpt the head turned, and then it won't be a big issue. Let's see. Go away.
Yeah, a couple of times I muted and turned off my screen was because my son was running in here.
I don't know why she's knocking. My daughter's outside playing, so I don't know what she wants.
This is the bad part of us doing this in the middle of the day over here.
Yes.
Because I was like, why did this never happened before? Then I realized, oh yeah, because our kids were asleep.
Yeah, I came out to hide in the garage to avoid just those problems.
Someday I'll have a garage again.
Yeah, I'm looking to update my garage that I have. I just moved, so I want to turn that into a little shop.
Oh, I just jacked this up a bit.
I'm sorry, Tom, I missed. What is it you're working on now? What is this figure?
This is an armature for a swords girl, like swordsman, swordswoman, but swords girl. I'm just getting her all posed up. Get done for my set of fantasy miniatures I'm working on right now.
Cool.
Oh man, I don't know what I just did. When I tried to twist her head though, it really messed up the spine, and now I'm not. Something doesn't look right.
Do you ever sculpt the head separately and then attach it later? That's what I do, or that's what I've been doing. That way I can bake it.
Shouldn't even. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have even tried to bend the armature for the head because it was in a fine position. But I like to, because the way I make the armatures, there's kind of a flat side. I like to turn the flat side the way the head is going to be facing. And then but it's twisted everything else because I didn't grab it in a good spot. That'll be okay. Probably won't even notice once I get all the putty on it. So I came across a cool podcast, and I was also able to be on it. Skirmish Supremacy. It's a really cool podcast. Did you? Cool.
I did. That was episode 54.
Yes. They are a great podcast that features independent miniature lines and creators all over the industry. I'm really digging on that because there's so much coverage on the big guys. It's hard to find stuff on the smaller guys in one spot when it is on other podcasts.
Yeah, looking at the list, it looks like Patrick Keith is on there a number of times anyway.
Yep. He's a good friend of the show. Sean Sutter's been on there a couple times. I love his stuff. Love his game, Relic Blade.
Oh, yeah.
And they talk. Those are some great conversations. So really looking forward. I think Tim from the podcast is going to be at Adepticon. But last I heard, he wasn't for sure going to be there. Oh, shoot. My shoulder armature has come loose. There we go.
Are you still using super glue to dab that in place?
Yep, that's probably what I'll have to do. Technically not advisable, but I've never had a problem, so.
Yeah, I do all the time. I haven't seen any issue.
As long as it's completely encapsulated, seems to be okay. Although I am a little tentative with this one just because this is a smaller miniature. And so I'm not entirely sure how much is going to be covered. I might strip off the green stuff I have on there right now and just put on a new layer to get it stuck on. There we go. Oh, I'll have to post a picture of this later, the concept I did for this figure. It's on my other computer right now, so I can't screen share it. But I had fun doing that. Need to get to drawing more, but I'm gonna need to sculpt still, so. But I foresee, especially after this, I put out these new figures that I'll, probably need to take a month or so where I'm just drawing, making new concepts and stuff for what I want to make. That or find somebody that can help me do that, but I really enjoy the drawing part too, so. All right. We'll dab just a touch.
Stefan, did you show some of your work earlier while I was away?
What's that? I'm sorry.
When I was putting together my pictures, I heard, I wasn't listening, but I thought heard you talking about what you were working on. Did you show anything?
Oh, I posted a link in the patron post section.
Ah, in the patron.
Yeah. There's a set of links. I'm doing like each week is a separate album.
Ah, okay.
On Google.
They're looking great. Stephen, did you make all of your casting setup, or do you have some machines that are?
I bought the vulcanizer because
that seems like that'd be difficult to homemade.
That, and you could screw up everything else, but if you screw up the mold, you're kind of hosed. But then I made a casting machine just out of a vent fan, and then I use a bullet furnace for melting the pewter.
Huh. And
it all seems to work fairly well.
That's cool.
But how
big are the molds that you?
Oh, they're 9 inch.
Cool.
9-inch molds.
So, what was the fan that you used?
It's an attic vent fan.
Okay, so a little more.
It's an attic
sturdy than like a box fan, because I remember I used to see these plans for making a spin caster out of a box fan.
Oh yeah. Now this the attic vent fan comes attached to, it's about a 12-inch like a duct tube.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I did is I just extended that upwards and then put a lid on it so that you can close it before you pour it. I could shoot a picture and post it over on the or either send you a link or just post it over on the Patreon or patron link section.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be awesome to see. Can
It's
share it here right now if you're doing it now.
It's pretty simple. Yeah, I'd have to dig it out.
Oh, no problem. No problem. We'll share it next time. It'll give people some incentive to head on over there and check out that section. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read up on that a little more, that section, and find out how maybe we can better utilize it, because I know there's been a lot of people asking about where to post things, and there really isn't a good place. But that might be it. That might be the place.
Yeah, it seems to.
And then if we can figure out a way to notify people about it.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody knows that it's there. I didn't know it was there till, just, I don't know, maybe a month ago.
Well, Patreon is great, but it's constantly changing. They're always adding new things or refining stuff, and so sometimes you don't even notice they've changed something in a while.
Hey, Seth.
Oh, there we go.
I checked out your stuff.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very cool stuff.
Thank you.
Oh, my battery just went.
You said you bought a vulcanizer?
Yes.
Were you able to get that from?
It's Romanoff casting.
Tom, is that the same thing you have?
No, I have a Volca mold.
Oh, Volca. Okay.
I've heard of Romanoff. They've been around for a long time. They're a pretty well known mold casting machine company.
Yeah, they have more than you'd want. Well, more than you'd want to spend.
Do you care if I show off some of your work on here, Stephen?
No, feel free.
Okay, let me share that. And week 1. Now, this isn't green stuff. Well, some of it's green stuff, but the majority of what you're seeing, FEMO.
Yeah, it's FEMO. It's just green.
It is fun to trick people, though, because like, oh, you're really good green stuff sculptor. That happened for a long time when I would do because I do my FEMO sculpting in gray FEMO. I had been working in Procreate exclusively, and so I had to make sure and tell people what it was, because they thought it was putty and didn't realize they had to treat it differently. So, there's your skeleton. I like that. It's good. Very good. I pan so quickly. People can pause it though. Or they can go to the link in the. I'll put that in the description, actually. Yeah, I'll put that in the description so people see where it is, and they can go over there and post their own stuff. So we can all see.
Those I was just making bases to.
Making bases, yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the. That was one of the days where I really don't have time to work on this.
Ah, yes. I can do. Just need something to fill time. You're so productive, but you don't have to pour yourself into it as much.
What did you use the vulcanizer for?
For making the molds. For making a 9-inch mold so I can spin cast.
Okay.
Yeah, the one I have it's like a small, maybe a 3x4 inch block, and then you do drop cast molding where you just pour the metal in. There's no spinning, but yeah, the thing Steven's talking about, he can make a real deal mold.
Nice.
Main manufacturers use. Oh, that's cool. I don't remember seeing this.
Since I'm out in the garage.
Did you sculpt all those?
No, that's a Games Workshop.
Oh, okay.
That was a terrain day.
Sweet. I love terrain, but Oh, sweet. MDF boards. Man, this is good terrain. Is this from Warhammer or Lord of the Rings?
The ruins was from Lord of the Rings, and the temple is from Warhammer.
Gotcha. That's a cool looking set. I like that a lot.
Eventually, they'll both be for Frostgrave.
Nice. I finally got to play that the other day. Man, that's fun. I couldn't believe all of the different combinations and weird combos and things you can do with the spells in that game.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
What kind of a wizard are you gonna field?
My son and I, we kind of just used the setting from Frostgrave, and then we play. We use the rule sets for Pulp Alley, and that's just that's like a father-son game that's put out by another guy. It's pretty fun though. It's a lot of fun, and you just tweak it to whatever setting you want.
Very cool. My phone.
Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, did you see week 3 of the? I went to get one of the molds.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
So
week 1, week 2.
So the vulcanizer is what makes
down lower in the comments.
No, I didn't see that one. There we go.
I can't go back and re-edit the post.
Cool. Awesome. What are these buildings from?
Those are paper buildings from, I don't remember who, but RPG Now.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's very nice.
That was a game that we played.
The famous Mod Podge for sealing everything up.
Yes, for sealing foam.
Yeah, this guy's looking good.
Oh, what you were saying about the sword being oversized, I see what you mean, but that type of sword was actually made out of wood with just like obsidian teeth.
Oh, interesting.
So it would have the weight
fairly light.
That's what I think. I mean, some of them were allegedly 6 feet long.
Wow.
But that would be two-handed.
Right. Well, that's what I said. Like, it's not that and I'm saying this, I understand with what you just said, so you can take it. But what I meant when I was saying it was that the size looked cool to me and everything, but it just looked a little imbalanced because the handle was shorter. But obviously, maybe in reality, and I was giving you kind of two options, suggestions in my mind to make it look more balanced, proportional. But that's interesting because in reality, it may well be fine and balanced to be like that, and wouldn't necessarily need two hands, to still be able to swing it around and do what it needs to, because it would be significantly lighter than your eye is telling you it might be. When I'm thinking of it being like a stone weapon or metal even. Oh yeah, I'm really liking the details. The wraps on its legs and body. It's cool.
Yeah, at this point that it's still unbaked, but I'm thinking I'm going to bake it before I start working on the headdress.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back. I don't know if I ever saw this comment that you posted this link. So I'm gonna have to do some research about the community section, because you would think and maybe I did get it and I just missed it, but I've seen this link, so I'm glad you mentioned it, so we can check it out. Thinking about your skirt, you just have to get to do what you want to do, or
it's just not what I was looking to do. I'm still looking for a different flowing effect. So, but that's still all, you know, unbaked. So it's
right.
It still
looks cool. Yeah, it is difficult to get a good flowing effect with Fimo when it has to be suspended and it's thinner. That's why I'll kind of go back and lean on green stuff or Procreate for that kind of stuff. But you can do it. A couple tricks though you might need to try is you might have to build up some form first to get like where you know you're going to have to fill in anyways, just so there's more for the
I did that.
material to lay on.
I did part of that in front, you know, where it's flowing up, but maybe I just didn't do enough of the underpinning or whatever you want to call
it. Even with all that said, you could like maybe you get it to this point and it's as far as you feel you can take it, you could bake it and then you could end up adding on more Fimo.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to stick on more Fimo after it bakes, or putty. But yeah, it's cool. I like the flow of this miniature and how you've got her off to the side of the base so that you can accommodate kind of this motion.
Yeah, that's why I put her off to the side so that it would.
Yeah.
The rest of the dress would flow the other way.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Is this a mold?
That's who makes those? It's a vacuum mold.
Oh.
Amera Models or something.
Wow, that's cool. Some more miniatures.
And then starting something else.
So do you typically attach the head separate?
So far I always
for your minis.
I don't know.
That's cool. No,
I think it's
that
still
could be a really good way to do it.
I think it's still fear of smashing it while it's still wet.
I'll tell you one really good reason to do it this way. And the only thing you have to be very careful of is to make sure you're making it the right size, because if your figure's getting some scale creep, being a little bigger, a little larger, you know, and you're working on the head separate,
you don't have
together. But one thing that's really good is it's a lot easier to make sure you're getting your left and rights of your face. You know, it's more symmetrical because when you, especially if you've got a really dynamic pose and your guy's head's turned weird or something, you know, it can be kind of deceptive that you're sculpting the face fairly symmetrical, or it can even just be difficult to get at certain angles.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's totally a valid way to do it.
Like I said, it mainly
awesome.
due to fear. That's where I'm at now.
We'll just have to do it sometime. Cool. It's awesome.
Thanks.
Day 20. Today's day 21. Yes.
Yes.
I've been doing a lot.
And I'm already done. I'm done with day 21.
I did a lot of the sculpt bake when I was doing these that I did.
Yeah.
I had a little thing, the baker thing. So it's probably the most I've done in any of my sculpts. Like I would just, for each piece as I was building it up, once I got it to the spot, baked it, and then came back. That way I didn't mess anything up.
Totally understand
that. So, and since I was working on two figures during the time that one's baking, then I just would work on the other one. But yeah, that's what I do when I start worrying about that I'm gonna mess up what I just did. I try to get it to a nice point, depending on what it is, also whether I may need to come back to it or not. But like once I had the whole body, I baked the anatomy, just the guy, no clothing. I baked him, and then I went back and started adding the boots, and then I baked the boots, and then I kept going like that.
Yeah, Tom challenged me to see how long I could go without baking, because that's what I was doing at first, or when I first started this, and put it off for as long as, because that way everything is still, it's still wet. You can move it.
Okay.
So you can get better flow lines. So,
right.
But yeah, but I totally understand the fear of smashing what you've already done. Like, no.
I got over it with Fimo because I still smash stuff when I work in putty. Smash anything in Fimo. I don't understand why, but it's weird. All right, guys. Well, my phone's about to die, which means, and it's been an hour anyway, so good timing. So we're going to wrap this up. And thanks, everybody, for coming on and watching this in the future when I get it posted up on the channel. So
thanks, Tom.
right, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks for coming on, Rich and Steve.
No problem. Nice meeting you, Steve.
Nice meeting you.
All right.
Hope
to see you next time.